Hey, my beautiful peeps. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Give It Since 92, giving you guys the latest and exclusive content on new music, entertainment news, and inspirational quotes by me. Yours truly, Queen is here. So, guys, I've been wanting to do this video, and this topic is going to be very interesting and it's about time, period. And I'm going to talk about this. I did a video called Gibson's 92 Toxic Fans. Just type it up. So it's Gibson's 92 Toxic Fans and Pop Culture. I want to talk about toxic pop culture in the cult mindset. Okay. Um, and I feel like it needs to be addressed. And I know it's a new generation. I know it's a new things. And I love new things and like new adaptations and new, things. But sometimes the new things are toxic and it needs to be addressed. Um, Speaking of pop culture, music brings people together. People, musicians bring people together. But I feel like there has been plenty of times where pop culture in general has been so toxic to musicians, to fans, and yes, fans. Fans are a part of pop culture. Since I'm going to be really taking a deeper look into pop culture, fandoms, and fan bases and stuff. But I also, because I grew up in like the millennials, so I'm a millennial. So I think that as I get more aware about like a new direction of music, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with a new direction in music. It happens how many years. But the thing is, the music climate doesn't really have enough soul in it, and then I feel like the toxic pop culture and the pop fans and the CULT mindset has really brought music in a very detrimental place. Now, this is my honest thoughts and opinions coming from me. I am not telling you guys how to feel. You can feel how you feel down below because we're here to have a conversation and have fun and have dialogues. Because I think that when I get older, and as I get older, I'm like, wow, even my artists that I grew up with, how they were able to set trends with their music, groundbreaking music, timeless albums. There's no such thing as a perfect album, but when you create a masterpiece, a work of art that people be like, wow, I remember this album, this came out. Wow, I remember, this album came out, about black musician, breaking barriers in music, not just sticking to R&B, not just sticking to hip hop. Because I'm gonna talk about this stuff in later videos. Because I'm ready. The girl's ready, y'all. I've been doing a lot of things. I've been ready. I've been ready. But I think that even with the new state of pop culture and the sound of music, and even hearing on the radio, I hear on the radio, I hear it, not just on the radio, like in my car. I hear it, you know, um, like at the stores. Music is everywhere. At the restaurants, music is everywhere. But I feel like that toxic CULT mindset from the pop culture, the music industry, and I'm just be very mindful of stuff. But what I'm saying is that at the same time, toxic fans do create the CUL mindset. And sometimes, especially for artists, musicians who have put in the work, who have, creative, have it all. The issue is they have dealt with the same old, same old, same old. So they need to start rising up and creating their own stuff and building their own things. That way they can just have, they can put out music when they want to put out. They can create, albums when they want to create, put out singles, books, tours, connect with their fans how it's supposed to be done. Okay. And I think that toxic pop culture and the nostalgia, it really not only does it take away from the excitement of music, social media is really, really, really popping, popping. But listen, social media was popping, popping, popping when I was little, Even, like I said, like years ago, before Instagram, before TikTok, before Snapchat, before Twitter, okay, which they're fine. This is not social media. You can't blame, well, you really can't blame social media. You really can't. You got to blame the people, the not, you know, the ignorant people on social media. Especially when it comes down to music. I know people don't have to like the same artist. That's fine. That's fine. But it's really, really aggravating at times. We do have musicians that have it all, period. They just have to have the right resources to get what they want. And when they do have that creativity, their ambition, all that great stuff, they have to get with people, no matter who they are, to expand their horizons when it comes to promoting the music. I even have witnessed and encountered a lot of this, on social media. This is why I don't really get into no tit for tats on social media. I really don't. And I think that it's okay to engage and interact with musicians, but I feel they're human beings and they are, period, whether people want to admit it or not. Okay. There are things that, fans should be mindful. But when I talk about toxic pop culture, it's like I want to do another video in the future because I think that video will be really interesting. And I'm thinking of ways how I can come up with stuff, how to really get my point across. And for toxic pop culture, it's this, well, this artist, musician, it's only a couple handful that really have the top tier talent. But no, musicians are everywhere. There are plenty of musicians that got the top tier talent. Plenty of them, a whole bunch of them. The only thing is, when it comes to fans, sometimes they do tend to have this bias towards certain musicians because they're not their favorite artist. That's fine. I don't care. I have, you know, even I have some songs that I like from artists that I'm not a huge fan of, which is fine, but that song does slap though. And they have that rhythm and blues and they got like that, quality about them, but I kind of feel like sometimes it got out of hand when it's like, it's like this really, the music landscape is so much out there. And especially when it comes to, even with the pop culture and nostalgia, toxic pop culture, it could be something on like, okay, I have seen people have like, fans of music of artists where they say, yeah, I was on social media, and I was on there scrolling on my, page, my timeline, and I was like, oh wow, people are having a big debacle about, certain artists, like, okay, years ago they made hit records. Oh well, and even the charts, people say, well, the charts did matter years ago, but that song was hot. It made hit record, and then, or it could be the song was hot, but it didn't crack the top 10 or whatever. But then people be like, well, the song wasn't all that anyway because the chart and all that. See, in the numbers, and like, oh, the song wasn't all that because it didn't chart high. Not necessarily. The song still slaps. It's just at the time promotion and like I said, we don't really know. I mean, even behind the scenes there's a lot of that. You have to really be really like rigorous, like very self-defense in a great way to really get your music heard, to get your promotion out there. And it's just too much. Yes, I understand social media is the thing, but it's too much of it, too much brand. I'm focused on your music. I am focused on that new single. I am focused on your new album. I am pretty much, I don't care what day of the album you come out with, I'm going to listen to your album. I'm going to check it out because I feel like music is pretty much the essence. It's the main vehicle. It's the main ingredient to what a musician is about. How artists are able to connect with people. They write their songs and all that great stuff. And I think even with the music critics, oh, they're part of the toxic pop culture and the CULT mindset. Um, because sometimes even when I read the music reviews, and the music critics listen, it's their opinion. That does not make it, oh, like, okay, well, you like the music, you like the music. Just don't go buy a freaking review. I'm just saying, have your own mind, and some music reviews, they're positive, but they have that constructive criticism. And then you got some music reviews that just slander the album, all willy nilly, left and right, up and down, and this way and that way. So music is very, right now, at a landscape, I feel, is it exciting to me? No, it's not. I just feel we just need to have more rhythm and blues and soul in the music. And I feel like pop culture with that toxic mindset, any musician, I don't care who it is, what gender, what race, what sexuality, there's always this dialogue. There's always this controversy where people, they say they want talent or they want that authenticity, the whole 9 yards. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are. You can write, write, produce, sing, rap, bars, hit, you have your own record label. There's always a stigma. Watch the video Get to Cincinnati 2, The Little Mermaid. I said something about controversy. Hmm. Yeah, I said something about controversy, and I said, I said, sometimes there are biasness and critics, but pop culture right now, it's, I feel, and I feel like it's not exciting because, like, there's not really a lot of variety. There's not a lot of open mindedness when it comes to musicians. Pop culture, especially with fans, I've even noticed that where people, they tend to, you know, like to dick pic or like to just bash a musician that they don't like, or okay, fine. But I feel there needs to be more different ways where pop culture and nostalgia can bring people together, not just on social media. And I think social media has really ruined it a lot because it's so much of this, like, you're constantly just really not. I mean, you do get to see the musicians. They, they use their social media to promote themselves, but I want a mystery. I want that, like, under the surface level where no one knew who the heck you were, which is fine. And people, they'll say that as a negative way, but it's a beautiful thing because I think for this music climate to change, it's going to change every 5, 10 years. There's going to be a new sound. It has happened plenty of times, but I think that that's going to be a time, especially for the musicians that are working on their craft. I always say this: be spontaneous with it, have a game plan, be strategic, and know your worth. Because a lot of times when it comes down to, pop culture, pop culture is a way for these musicians and fans to connect. And even overall, I think that the pop culture and nostalgia can really use more uplifting, you know, more transparent, and more, you know, more daredevilness, if you ask me. And I think that um, I don't even, like I said, I don't really have so much. I mean, it's like, even when I grew up, like, I love, like, more of that nostalgia. Let me be specific: R&B, pop, dance, rhythm. Well, it's the same thing. Um, dance music, contemporary R&B soul, traditional R&B soul, traditional hip hop. And I think the issue is anytime musicians have found a sound, this is where I'm going to kick that KICKASS. This is what I'm going to do. Because when it comes to my favorite musicians, and they have really went through a lot in that music industry, and they have pushed through, they never gave up. But the thing is, you have to really hold on what you got, what you built from the ground up. You just gonna have to be like, listen, this is my stuff. I own it. This is mine, and I have respect for the arts, because I understand, how it is, and you have the will to say no, thank you. Period. I appreciate the offer, but no, thank you, and it's okay because they say when one door closed or doors closed, another door gonna open. That's why I always say, even I had to freaking realize this. And even I said, well, you got what you got right now. You use what you got now and work and make something out of it. So it's okay to be the, daredevil. It's okay. Because I think what's really interesting, even when I listen to like people's opinions about how some new, it's gonna be like new things coming up all the time, which is nothing wrong. Well, what do you mean by new things like technology, and then even the music? It's getting it's starting to really, and it's scary because it's like music, timeless music is supposed to be timeless throughout the years. So I feel like there's been a lot of drastic changes, but there has been a lot of bad drastic changes. I don't really feel like people. It's just not. Hmm. What I can say. I mean, it's really pretty much dull, and I don't want to keep dragging along with this, but I feel like for pop culture to be fun how it was before, that's why I think the message boards should come back, because I am pretty much a huge pop culture music fan, and I think that music, like the message boards for fans to create their own fan pages in the group chats and all that. But also, I think, well, I'm gonna talk about that too. There also has been instances where there has been toxicity. I mean, in those departments. So I kind of think that it makes it a lot. It's sometimes I just because I kind of feel like detoxing from social media would be a great thing too sometimes, because we're always constantly like, well, what's going to be the new thing? But I kind of feel like detoxing social media as a fan will help benefit music lovers, because hey, if you're bored and you want to listen to your favorite artist's music, they put out an album, 2 hours, 3 hours before the next one. Listen to the daggone album that came out before. You can have some ideas, thoughts in your mind, imagination. Well, I wonder how this next album's going to sound. Because the creative process is a lot different for these artists, these musicians, from like the first album. The first album is the first album. The first album went out with a bang, greatness, cool. The second album, you want to do the same thing, greatness. But you got to remember, the second album's not going to sound like the first album. It's a creative process. That's all I got to say. But I think that even listening to like what people were saying, like how we want that pop culture music back, and a lot of times I've seen even like people with merchandises and the t-shirts of their favorite musicians. So that's great, but that toxicity, it has to go away, and it has got a lot worse. So what I do is, like I said, I have my opinions, whether people agree or disagree, that's fine. But I'm not gonna be like, you know, getting so hell bent over it. Um, it's not worth it because I just love listening to whatever album or musician that I like listen to at the time. Um, I just I put in that daggone good feeling music, and that's it. So that's all that matters. But what do you guys think? And What are new ideas you guys think like can make pop culture can be a lot better? And what are your thoughts and opinions? Who are your favorite artists that you listen to daily? Sometimes, every once in a blue moon. Let me know down below. Let's have a good discussion. And the CUL mindset needs to stop, period. So, with that being said, please stay tuned next episode. Give Since Night 2. Like, share, comment, subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and as always, stay tuned on the next episode. Give Since Night 2. Dragon Ball Z narrative reference. Peace. Bye bye, girls. Exit out. This Super Saiyan's out.